Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday weekly live stream that we do on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. And this is where I talk about voice and music and artist development and music business. And today's conversation is a interesting conversation. I recently started posting on Instagram about sound frequencies, and I wanted to do a live about it. So I'm going to reveal the 12 solfeggio frequencies and talk about the healing power of music, and even talk a bit about the 528 hertz tuning. I was on a call last night on an X Space with Dr. Leonard Horowitz, who has done probably the most extensive research on this, and I'll be sharing that as we move through today. So this conversation is just a start to the power of music and what it does to your singing voice. If you really want to experience a radical shift in your voice, grab a free seat in my Better Voice Challenge 4-day workshop, where you walk through 8 sequences of my co-vocal method to open and free the voice. So you can go and find that. The links are everywhere. It's Better Voice Challenge. And if you go to my website at carriecole.com, it's just free training. Just click on that. So let's dive in. So, one of the best quotes ever of the psychic and prophet from many years ago, Edgar Cayce, said, "The medicine of the future will be music and sound." Has anyone heard that quote before? The medicine of the future will be music and sound. So I'm going to give you just a little bit of history on these solfeggio tones and what they are and what note they relate to. This is all on the... Can you guys hear me? Someone is saying no sound. Hang on. There should be sound. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up over there on Instagram. I think everything's fine on... But let me know if you can hear me on Instagram, please. Okay. Okay, great. So can you guys hear me? Somebody let me know on Instagram if you can hear me. Thank you. So these frequencies relate to, well, let me give you just a little bit of history. So dating back to the 11th century, the healing frequencies of ancient solfeggio tones were created to heal the human body, mind, and spirit. Based on the old Gregorian chants, these scales were believed to be sacred. They're used as spiritual blessings, meditations, and tools for soothing the human psyche. So each frequency offers a solution to energetic blockages, and they even can relate to the chakras. So a normal healthy body should resonate with a natural frequency of 65 to 75 hertz. While it may be, how do we know, right? Are we hooking ourselves up to something to know? But this is just general information. When exposed to higher frequencies, such as those found in sound frequency, in sound healing, the human body is stimulated to heal itself. So on the flip side of that, if the human body is exposed to low frequencies, they can develop negative symptoms as a result. And our modern day music scale is slightly out of kilter from the original solfeggio frequencies, and consequently a little more dissonant, as is based on, what's called the 12-tone equal temperament falls within the frequency of A440. A is 440 hertz, and that's what all orchestras tune to. And the ancient music scale before that was called just intonation. And so our modern music falls within A440 hertz. So A, that means the note of A is 440 hertz, right? Concert pitch. That's what everyone tunes to. And that was in 1914. It was changed to A440 from A417 hertz. So And some people say that that has created a dissonance in our modern music. So many artists, and raise your hand or give a heart if you are experimenting with creating these tones, or you're tuning in A444. So when you tune in A444, then C becomes 528, which is the love frequency, which I'll talk about. So musicians are starting to do this. Some have been doing it for a long time. Some are just jumping on this trend of tuning, instead of A440, tuning the piano to A444, or tuning your guitar or your bass to A444, right? So John Lennon recorded his famous song Imagine in the 528 Hertz frequency. According to Dr. Leonard Horowitz, who was on this X Space I was on last night, who is the most studied on this subject and has written incredible books, so go and check him out. He refers to this as the love frequency, and it repairs DNA and all kinds of other amazing things. So John Lennon recorded his song Imagine in 528, and it is associated with the heart chakra. So 528 is the correct vibrational frequency for the heart chakra. And there are the most incredible, and I want to share this with you guys because I came across these amazing, you can see, well, you can't see, but over there I have my sound bowls. So I have a bunch of crystal bowls for sound healing and stuff like that. But there was something really incredible that I came across the other day that I wanted to share with you. I'm just pulling up the link on YouTube now so that you have it. I'll put it over on YouTube. These are the most amazing Tibetan bells that are ringing at these solfeggio frequencies. And what's different about crystal versus the bells, there's a lot of talk about how bells are ward off evil spirits or negative entities or negative vibrations. And so I started listening to these Tibetan bells and really noticed a big energetic difference. So those of you on Instagram, go over to YouTube and grab that link on the live stream. Every stream is always recorded over on YouTube, so they're all archived. Just go to the live page and you'll find everything. But you'll see in the comments my link to these Tibetan bells. And some wild things started happening energetically when I was listening to these bells. So I'm looking into it more, but I feel like the energetic sound imprint of these bells has a tremendous amount of power in them. So I'm going to go through the frequencies, and then we can ask questions or chat about anything that you guys are experiencing, if you're starting to experiment or want more information. So the solfeggio, there are 12 that I've noted over on the blog. There are 9 fundamental ones. So the frequencies are 174, 285, 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, and 852. Oh, and 963. And then there are 3 additional tones that have been added. One is 9 hertz, one is 99 hertz, one is 999 hertz. And these are supposed to be the vibration of 5-dimensional frequency. So you'll see that over on the blog, more information. And I have a link for where you can also listen to, and I'll put it here on YouTube, where you can listen to the 12 solfeggio tones. So let's just talk for a moment about the qualities and the benefits of these solfeggio tones. So solfeggio tone number 1, the 174 hertz, which corresponds pretty closely. Again, modern music is slightly skewed from these original tones, and you'll see over on the blog, you'll see the actual number of the actual hertz. This has been tracked. And then at the bottom, you'll see all my reference documents for where I sourced this. Catherine Evans has done a lot of work on this, and you'll see her link there at the bottom. I kind of combined a bunch of different things in my research for this article. So 174 hertz relieves pain and tension. So it's associated with the reduction of both pain and stress. And it corresponds to F3 on the musical scale. So that's for relieving pain and tension, and it will relax the muscles, helping to alleviate tension and pain. Depending on how sensitive you are to this, sensitive you are as a person, is whether you will actually pick up on it, but you will still get the benefits of it. Solfeggio tone 2 is 285 hertz. This is based on safety and survival, they call it, but it's also the healing of cuts and burns and other physical wounds. It's about cellular regeneration, this one. Let me just pull up Catherine Evans' notes, because I also like to include her notes there. Let me just look here at what she's saying. I love the way she talks about it. The frequency is soothing and calming and sends a message through energy fields to heal and restore tissues and damaged organs in the body. So if you've, had an accident, or if you've been through surgery, listen to these tones to help create a positive shift, recovering from an operation or an injury. 396. Let me get back to my notes over here. Okay, 396. Oh, and the corresponding note on the musical scale for solfeggio tone 285 is somewhere between C sharp 4 and D4. And again, you'll see the actual hertz over there that vacillate between 277 to 293. So this is 285. Again, our musical scale is not exactly lining up because of the change that happened in the early 1900s. Solfeggio tone 3 is 396 hertz, and this is about releasing fear and worry. It relates to the root chakra, also helps to balance the energy center. It's good for letting go of grief and loss, and for removing negative blocks, such as fear and guilt. So it's one of the fundamental frequencies in sound healing. And this can help create a strong magnetic energy field, which gives us the power to release us from the cycle and the loops of negativity. It's also good for awakening and turning grief and sadness into joy. So for people that struggle with fear, worry, sadness, the past is very present for them, listening to this tone will help to release that. It corresponds to the musical note on the scale G4. Solfeggio tone 4, 417 hertz, is about releasing negativity and past trauma. It relates to the musical note G sharp 4. Okay. And it is the first of the original set of frequencies and vibrates to the sacral chakra located just below the navel. So it is known as the frequency of change and is used to cleanse and unblock negative or stale energy. So a powerful vibration to help heal the brain, enable us to overcome trauma, and manage negative thought patterns. Solfeggio 528 is the love tone, and this relates to C5, the octave above middle C, and twice the frequency of C4 is said to repair DNA. So this was the frequency that John Lennon recorded Imagine to, and this frequency is equivalent to C4, as I said, It vibrates to the solar plexus, right in the center of the gut, right? Your stomach area. It increases positive thoughts and feelings. It's been found as the source for healing and recovery for the entire body, mind, and spirit. So important for offering up the potential for DNA repair. So yes, listening to John Lennon, but there's a lot of frequencies going on there. You can also just listen to the Tibetan bells of 528 or to the sound healing frequencies of 528. Might be a little more steady for you to absorb that frequency. It is also linked to the natural world and reinforces relationships with creativity. So it's perfect when you are really looking for that deeper connection to yourself. And remember, it's the heart chakra. Now, she says it's the solar plexus, Catherine Evans, but Dr. Horowitz, who's more studied, says that the 528 frequency is the heart chakra. So I would go with his studies more. And again, you can look up Dr. Leonard Horowitz, and there's a lot of information. He's written so many books, and he's also very studied and researched on natural healing and holistic healing. So he's written a lot of books. He's also very aware of the Rockefeller conspiracy. It's not really conspiracy, but the takeover of modern medicine. And so he really has studied the whole gamut. The X Space last night was unbelievable. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see I share those spaces when they happen. They're every night at 9:00. But Dr. Horowitz was a guest last night, and unbelievable. You can listen to the recording. I recommend it. You'll find it on my page. And yeah, my X page is, for some reason, I don't know if it's shadow banned or what's going on. We've got 15,000 followers over there, but I did let it go dark for about 4 years and it never really came back. But I'm starting to post more now, so we'll see if that stimulates it. The next in the lineup of the frequencies is the 639 Hertz frequency. And this lies between D sharp 5 and E5. So from 622 Hertz up to 660 Hertz. So this frequency is known as the miracle tone. And listening to music in this frequency helps us reconnect with our emotional connection, and associated with therapy, really intended to produce positive feelings and greater attunement to harmonious interpersonal relationships. So if you're struggling with a relationship, put that tone on, or even in the house, so it's running subliminally. If it's someone that you're struggling with in the house, it promotes communication, love, understanding, brings harmony into interpersonal relationships. And over on the blog, I've linked videos that you can listen to those specific frequencies. Solfeggio tone, the next in the lineup is 741. And this is problem solving, emotional stability. It's somewhere around D sharp 5 at the 5th frequency. This is also sol, the note sol, do, re, mi, fa, sol. And this is the tone of creating a more healthier and more stable life, more emotionally and physically. Allows the mind to expand. Our mind is like a steel trap, and it operates like a computer, producing these loops that go constantly, and we can't really solve issues from the mind. We can't really step into a higher vibration through the mind. The mind is like the computer part of our brain, always processing and keeping us safe and analyzing. But where we need to solve bigger issues is the heart chakra, and is the stepping into our heart. There is a Native American Indian saying that I love, that I heard years ago, that the longest journey you will ever make is from your head to your heart. the longest journey you'll ever make is from your head to your heart. So instead of trying to solve problems, okay, maybe math problems with your brain, but to solve bigger life problems, or, what direction are you going in, or these kinds of questions, or what's my purpose kind of thing, you really want to drop down into the heart energy, right? And so the solfeggio tones of 528, 639, 741 will help us. 741 will help. 528 will help step into the heart frequency, and 741 will help with problem solving. It unwinds a person's worries and troubles, allowing one to think more freely, creating room for a healthier and more stable emotional position, and really to be able to tap that intuition. So think really of 741 as intuition. 528 is heart chakra, 741 is intuition. Solfeggio tone 852 is harmony internally and with the universe. So it's associated with redirecting the mind away from overthinking, intrusive thoughts, negative patterns, and really to be able to step into harmony with your environment, with yourself really, because self is where everything lives. So all of the problems, all of the troubles, all of the issues are housed inside ourselves, in the way that we think, in our belief systems, in these kinds of things. So when we want to really connect with a better sense of harmony within ourselves and with the universe, 852 hertz is your frequency, and it relates to around G sharp 5 on the musical scale. Solfeggio tone 963 is about, and it relates to the musical scale of A sharp 5 to B5, and it is associated with the activation of the pineal gland and higher spiritual development. So it's known as both the pure miracle tone and the frequency of the gods. 963 is associated with the activation also of the crown chakra and a connection to source of all humanity, or connection to source. And it awakens your interaction with oneness, with unity consciousness, with an interconnectedness with the universe. You see, through our physical vessel, we are connected to the universe, and we're not taught that. We are taught to look outward for love and connections, but it's actually right here. The additional tones, 9 hertz, 99 hertz, 999 hertz, are called the infinite healing golden wave vibrations of 5-dimensional frequencies. And you'll find my reference articles where you can find all of that information, and my links to listen to the solfeggio tones. And over on YouTube, I put the links to listen to the Tibetan bells, which I'm listening to now. I think are even more, I don't know if they're more powerful. I think there's something in the energy of the bell that I'm finding in the frequency that feels more stronger or more powerful to me. So let's open it up for questions. And yes. Yeah, I started posting about sound frequencies, I don't know, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and our Instagram just completely blew up. We've gained like almost 10,000 followers in a very short period of time, and it seems to be where everybody is focused in their mind or want to know more about. So go ahead and type your questions in the comments in the comment section, or just comments that you want to make about sound frequencies. Has anyone had any experiences with sound baths or sound frequencies? Has anyone gone to sound baths, attended sound baths? If you haven't, you might want to try that. Also, listen to the YouTube videos, of the solfeggio frequencies and the Tibetan bells, and see what you notice. When you need to relax or you need some help, lie down for 20 minutes and listen. People also listen to binaural beats. That's another way to get these frequencies inside of you as well. The frequency before 741. The frequency before 741 is 639. And this relates to the musical tone D sharp 5 to E5. And it's the fourth frequency on the scale, or Fa, and is a sound frequency that is connected to the heart chakra, associated with therapy, intended to produce positive feelings and greater attunement to harmonious interpersonal relationships. As therapy, 639 Hz exposure encourages clearer communication practices and situational awareness. It's a frequency with an ability to reconnect because it allows one to meditate on themselves, their life, and those of the people they value and love. It promotes communication, love, understanding, brings harmony into interpersonal relationships. Let me just see what else Catherine says over here about that. Listening to music in this frequency helps us to emotionally reconnect and attract love from both ourselves and those around us. This music can also help us to feel closer to universal consciousness or self-realization by allowing us to look at a particular situation in a different way than before. Listeners may start to experience greater harmony in their relationships, navigate through life with better communication skills. Anyone struggling with turbulent or toxic relationships or codependency, or going through a rough patch in their personal life, may find that listening to 639 enables them to heal and go on to transform areas of their life that no longer serve them. 432. 432. Oh, 417 maybe? That's not one of the, 432 is not one of the, 432, people are recording in 432. Yeah. So what's the question about that in particular? That's not one of the main solfeggio frequencies, but it is healing for the body and soul. But it's not one of the main. Let's see. And people are also tuning, said to be harmony with the natural vibrations of the universe. I'd have to do a little bit more research because there's a lot of information out there. And I like to make sure I'm getting the right information. I can speak to that after I've looked at that a little bit more. So a particular order one should listen to these frequencies like a progression. Yeah, I like to turn on the main. Let me just grab. So there are two YouTube videos that I listen to. The one I'm listening to right now is the one I'm going to post on YouTube, and it's called Quick Chakra Tune-Up. So it's 3 minutes per chakra, and these are tuned Tibetan bowls. And it goes through each chakra, 3 minutes per each of the 7 chakras. So I really like that. You know, you're going through it in about 20 minutes. And then there's another one that I like that, let me just grab it, that goes through all 12 solfeggio frequencies. And Dr. Group, the naturopath Dr. Group, shared that last year. So I listened to those too. And I like both of them, you know, and I leave them on while I'm working, while I'm writing, while I'm doing things. So I recommend listening to one of those or both of those. Just, you know, bookmark it on your browser and you can roll through them. Those of you on Instagram, I'm sharing that over on YouTube. I can't go over and type into the comments, but I can just cut and paste here because I'm on StreamYard. Any other thoughts or questions? 432, they talk also, it's closer to the intonation of nature. Anybody else, any thoughts or questions or comments? Well, thank you for joining me today. Such a great conversation, such a great time. on the planet as we start to open our minds and our consciousness to other ways of healing. You know, I find, and possibly you might be interested as a musician in recording in different frequencies and see what you think. But I listen to them almost daily. I just put them on while I'm working, and find them quite soothing and healing. So thank you for joining me today. And I will see you next Wednesday. I go live every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And come and join me over on X. For those of you who are on X, follow me there. I need a little help over there. The algorithm is not showing my, like I shared something about how singing is really healing. And no, I would tune Jeep. I would tune to A444, and that's the most common, and that brings 528 is then C in A444. See what you think. But yeah, over on X, I need a little bit of help there with stimulating that algorithm. I'm starting to post things about vocal, and I also, post about health and holistic health and other things like that over there more. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next week. Happy sound healing. Talk to you later.